Hey, what up? We're back.
And here we are, Squirtle Squad! And today we're going to be showing you
what the best deck we think is. So, we think the best Pokemon deck should be this, and Charlie Wilkes.
So, first of all, the first card you want to have
is Marshtomp.
Swampert, you mean?
Swampert, sorry. I'm confused.
Let me take it out of the pack. So, Swampert, he's got a really, really good ability, which is Power Draw. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards.
And Hydro
Which means, if you cheat, just joking, if you have a whole thing of waters, then this is really good for the second move, which is
Hydro Pump,
which does 80 plus damage.
It says, this attack does 20 more damage times the amount of water energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you want to do 300 damage, you only need 7 water energies, which, if you put into your pile of cards that you can draw from, Power Draw is very useful, which makes this Pokemon almost undefeatable.
Second up, we have Marshtomp.
It is very useful. It is one of the cards that you could say is
so
very
if you're going to have Swampert, you've got to have the Marshtomp.
It's just,
For an example, Muddy Water. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance to bench Pokemon. It only does 20 damage, but you can knock out two Pokemon at the same time. Second up, we have another Marshtomp.
Now,
which does
30 for Mud Slap, and listen to this, 40 plus for Endeavor. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 20 more damage for each head, so if you got both of them heads, that would mean 80 damage in total, plus the 30 for Mud Slap would mean 110 damage.
Second up, we have Mudkip.
Now,
it doesn't look like much, but it can do damage. If you add in quite a few energies to it, it can deal damage and then retreat really quickly and get all of its damage HP off and then go back in.
Next, Charmander. Now, Charmander might not seem like much, but really,
its Gnaw has one of the special things, which means it can use any move from the evolutions that it will evolve into, which means it only does 10 damage for that move, but it means it can use this Charizard's
Fire Spin. And may I point out, this is the third rarest version. This is the third rarest card in the world. This version of Charizard, which I kindly gave to my friend over here, is the third rarest card in the world. It's very lucky to come across.
And last of all, we have the most important card of the entire deck,
Squirtle!
Squirtle!
Now, you might not think it does much. It only does 10 plus damage, but if you look at this ability here, Shell Shield, may I? As I will do. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks, both yours and your opponent's. Now, it says yours and your opponent's, but actually, if you read the rules, with this ability, you can choose if it's your Pokemon or your opponent's Pokemon.
Which means, if my Swampert is against, for an example, Mega Gardevoir, and Gardevoir does 300 damage, Swampert can do 300 damage to Gardevoir, and Gardevoir does zilch to Swampert.
Because of Shell Shield.
So, that is one of the first decks. So, we've organised it, and we've got the second best deck, which is Kyogre. So, it's the legendary Pokemon, Hollow, and it may not do much damage. Its spinning tide does 30 times, and it says, flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 30 damage times the number of heads.
Which isn't very useful, because mostly you get tails.
And the Ocean Cyclone is very, very useful.
It does
80 damage, but this attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon.
And that is around 6 or 7 bench Pokemon.
It's 6.
On 5. Sorry. Anyway, 5 bench Pokemon, so that means 50 damage distributed between the 5 Pokemon.
So, and then, if you do it 5 times, you can knock out about 3 Pokemon if the opponent's got a really weak deck. Okay, so, next up we have
Cubchoo.
Cubchoo.
Now,
it may not look like much. for example, its Furious Swipe does 10 times, and its Flip 3 coins, this attack does 10 damage times the number of heads.
And you don't get heads very often.
Yeah, and that will only be, if you're lucky, 30 damage. Sorry, 40 damage. And then its Frostbite does 40 damage. We only chose this Pokemon because it's cute. And nobody can say, this Jubchew...
Look at that. It's sneezing, and it's very cute. Now, it may not be that useful in deck, but it is cute. Okay.
And if you need to wipe out a Pokemon, but for example, your best Pokemon is on about 10 HP,
and your opponent's Pokemon is on about 30,
you
just put that on. Use Frost Breath. It's dead.
Which means it's good. So, for example, and next up we have Seismitoad.
EX.
Yeah. Real. It's not fake.
Not fake at
It's
all.
not fake.
This is the cross version. So, if I may. So, it doesn't seem like much.
It's Quaking Punch. Its Quaking Punch only does 30 damage, but your opponents can't play any items from his or her hand, his or her next turn, which means they can't do, if they're going to use a Heal Scarf or Nurse Pokemon Center Lady or Nurse Joy, then it means they can't use that and can't heal any damage from their Pokemon.
And Grenade Hammer, it does 130, but the downside is this attack does 30 damage to 2 of your bench Pokemon. That's the only downside, which means...
But if you just saw the clip before, you would have seen Squirtle with its ability of Shell Shield.
Which means if you play that before you play Seismitoad Grenade Hammer, it doesn't do any damage
to its Pokemon, and then does 130 damage
in total.
So next up we have
Venusaur EX Cross. Now it's not very much that good. Poison Powder does 60, but it does make your opponent's active Pokemon
and it can knock out the Seismitoad EX.
Yes.
With its Jungle Hammer. You can heal 30 damage from this Pokemon.
Using Jungle Hammer.
Yeah, and it does 90 damage. Or you can use Poison Power. Your active Pokemon is now poison, and it only does 30 less damage.
Now, next up, we have Cyndaquil. Now,
and again, it may not look like much, but this Pokemon is very, very easy. For an example, it's Ember. Discard 1 energy attached to this Pokemon, but then you gain it back again next move. And it's got quite a high HP.
60.
60 damage for a basic Pokemon, which is
and really its tackle is 10.
And it has, as we said, with the Chubchew,
it's cute.
It's cute, and it's useful for knocking out the opponent's Pokemon if you don't win your best one.
Also, its retreat is only one normal dimension.
So you can bring it in, knock out the opponent's Pokemon, and before you can get knocked out, use the retreat. Or use... Now, last up we have Charizard! As you saw in the last clip, it is the 3rd rarest card
in the world. And it used to be mine. I swapped it with him. Of course, that was a bad mistake. So, it does Fire Spin, which does 100 damage.
Well, first let's see its Pokepower, because this is quite an old version. So, and so it's hollow. It's hollow, everybody. It's
Look at that. Oh, look at that. Completely hollow.
Pokemon Power, Ember Burn. As often as you like during your turn, before you attack, you have to do it before you attack people. You have to. You may turn all energy attached to Charizard into a fire for the rest of the turn. This power can't be used if Charizard is asleep, confused, or paralyzed.
The only thing it's effective against is poisoned. It's Fire Spin. It does 100 damage. It says discard 2 energies attached to this Charizard in order to use this attack.
But, as we've said before, if you're using... Where is it? Charmander... which can use the move.
No, because as you can see right there there's no, and that symbol means it can use any of the moves that evolving Pokemon has. And since this Charizard has Fire Spin, that means it can use Fire Spin. It can't use the ability Energy Burn, but still, it's a very useful card.
So I've already got the deck here. So, Katasan is one of them.
Kangaskhank.
Sorry?
EX. It has Triple Draw, which is draw 3 cards. And it also has Kindred Kick. Flip it, that does 70 plus. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 more damage. Next, we have Yveltal EX, the legendary Pokemon that fights Xerneas. If you've seen the Pokemon movie about it, you will understand what I'm saying. Evil Ball, 20 plus. It doesn't seem like much, but this attack does 20 more damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. And Y Cyclone does 90 damage. Move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. The next one is Lucario EX. Now, this guy is the cross version of Lucario, as you can see right there. He doesn't do much damage. I mean, well, actually, he does only 190, but Missile Jab, this attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. It only does 30 damage, so not that good. Corkscrew Smash, 60 damage. You may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand, and Summer Assault Kick does 100 damage, so in total, 190. Not that bad. Next up, Dialga EX. We've been waiting for this all day. Dialga has Chrono Wind and Full Metal Impact. Now, Chrono Wind, if the defending Pokemon's in the EX, it cannot attack during your opponent's next turn, 60 damage. Full Metal Impact, 150. Discard 2 Metal Energy attached to this Pokemon, so obviously you can't use that move unless you have 2 Metal Energies.
So, and then we have, if you're very lucky enough, like I do, Dragonite EX.
We also have the big card. That is very hard to come by. I only got it by chance in a special packet. It was sold in about 2016 or 17. I doubt you can get it in stores, but still, it's a very hard.
Bustin', this is its ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand into your bench, you may move any number of basic energy attached to this Pokemon to your Pokemon, to this Pokemon. If you do, switch this Pokemon with your active Pokemon, which means double whammy. So if it's going from your deck into your hand, you can make it your active Pokemon and then take a whole load of energies. And then Jet Sonic does 80 plus.
Not too good.
But it does 3 Leaf, 3 Life, and 1 Lightning. If you discard any energy attached to this Pokemon, it does 40 more damage. So if you have like 15 fire energies, it can do probably about more than 300 damage.
Probably, yes. So, it's still a very useful card.
And the last card, Mudsdale.
It is the Hollow, I believe. Yes,
Reverse Hollow and Hollow.
Yeah.
Mixture. From the Alolan region. Region, sorry. 140 HP, which is really, really good.
180 attack on high horsepower, but it does do 40 damage to itself, which brings it down to 100.
Squirtle, don't forget that. Guys.
Yeah.
Don't forget about the Squirtle.
It is very good.
Enhanced Stomp. This Pokemon has if this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached to it, this attack has 60 more damage.
And it already has 60.
So it will do 120.
Plus 180.
High horsepower. This attack does 40 damage to itself.
So in total...
But it will still have 100 HP, guys. And then it does 180 HP, which can knock out this Venusaur.
It can knock out a Venusaur EX.
And I think also a Seismitoad. Can knock out a Seismitoad, Kyogre, Swampert,
Kagashank, Yveltal, Lucario, even Dialga. I mean, it's crazy how many cards it can knock out. It's a really good card.
Really,
it can also knock out big old Dragonite over here.
Only has 180 HP.
It's a perfect card if you need a quick deck that will get you the win.
So they are the best deck. But you can't have the best deck without the Squirtle, can you?
This Squirtle is like crazy. If you don't get that version of Squirtle, but your Squirtle still has Shell Shield, it's going to be very useful. So always put it in your deck. Never play it as your active Pokemon because it will get killed, most likely. But always keep it on your bench because then you can use Shell Shield, which in effect is basically giving you an unbeatable deck because you can't be killed. Anyway, that's
bye-bye, Squirtle lovers!
This is Squirtle Squad, signing off.